Coming up next on Making Moves, Congress passes a new transportation bill. Two powerful tropical storms give us a reminder that it's hurricane season. See how some new technology is helping detect danger on our bridges. And find out why a longtime Courthouse employee says there's only one way he'll ride to work, and that's on JTA. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. Stay tuned for those stories and lots more next on Making Moves. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Making Moves. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. JTA Executive Director and CEO Michael Blaylock is here in the studio. He'll be joining me in just a moment. But first, our top story. For the first time since 2005, Congress has passed a multi-year transportation bill. As Independence Day approached, both houses overwhelmingly approved the measure, passing the House 373 to 52 and later clearing the Senate 74 to 19. Under the agreement, federal transportation funding will continue at roughly $54 billion a year, averting a crisis for the nation's highway construction projects that could have occurred had Congress not agreed on the money before the expiration of a short-term measure July 6th. Florida Congressman John Mica, who chairs the House Transportation Committee, said, quote, "This bill will provide a major boost to our economy by putting Americans back to work, building our nation's bridges and highways," unquote. Let's bring in JTA Executive Director and CEO Michael Blaylock. First, what's your overall impression of this? I guess a sigh of relief?
Sign of relief. I mean, it's been a really hard-fought effort trying to get this legislation through Congress, and so it's really a great step forward in the right direction. And it means a lot for Jacksonville to see this thing finally make some movement.
Oh, exactly. That's the next question I wanted to ask. Do you see any monies for JTA when it comes to this?
Oh, yeah. We actually have, Joyce, about $38 million in that bill that would be pledged toward our bus rapid transit project, both the north leg and the southeast leg. So we're keeping our fingers crossed as it works its way through appropriations. But it's a huge step for Jacksonville. It's a huge step for the Congress and for America, quite frankly, in that we're finally able to make some headway on this.
Especially because every time we talk about transportation, we talk about transportation really growing the economy and putting jobs out there.
I mean, it's critical. I mean, if you cannot maintain mobility, then you cannot maintain any kind of economic competitiveness. So it's kudos to the Congress that we finally got a bill that we can all live with at this point in time. So I'm just glad to see that we're finally making some headway.
Absolutely. Well, let's go over some of the bill's highlights and get your thoughts on them. The new bill streamlines the new starts process for transit construction to help accelerate project delivery, eliminating duplication and speed up federal decision making. So give us an example of new starts project.
Well, the best example, Joyce, will be the bus rapid transit project. And some of the language that's in there basically streamlines the process, the environmental process, which is a huge process. And if that language prevails, then it will allow us to get those projects to constructions as early as this year. So it's really critically important. Things that would normally take 2 years, I mean, we can probably get it done, within a year's time. So all those kinds of things are really, really critically important to us. So what we're waiting for is the final language to see how the actual rules will apply. But the good news is that there's been some really hard-fought debate and discussions in terms of the importance of understanding how critically important it is to try to move these projects a lot faster.
And just one more thing, on the paratransit side, the bill also consolidates the elderly and disabled and the new Freedom programs into one single program that increases the level of resources that had been available under the existing programs. What, if any, impact will that have on us?
Huge. Joyce, one of the big problems you have with transportation for the disabled and disadvantaged is duplication. And so what this does is allow us to bring it closer in terms of better coordination, in terms of services, people having access service to the rural communities, trying to get to the major hospitals and veteran centers and that sort of thing. So what this is going to allow us to do is to try to pool those dollars together, to bring those resources together and coordinate the transportation amongst the other transportation providers. So, and it's a very fragmented industry, paratransit is, and so this is going to allow us an opportunity to bring those forces together, centralize the reservation system so you can make that one call, that one click to access your transportation needs.
Okay, and one last question. Will we see the effects of this transportation bill immediately?
I hope so. I mean, in terms of the veterans bill, we've already gotten funding for that.
Right.
And we're on the way with that. Yes, I think that once it's approved and enacted, then I think it's a matter of just somehow the language come back in terms of how we were able to apply the different language, streamlining, that sort of thing. But as far as the dollars, I mean, the dollars is, yeah, I mean, we're ready to go. We have projects already on the shelf that's ready to go. I mean, we're ready to go. Just bring the money and we're ready to go.
Show us the money.
Well, you know, it's about the jobs.
Yes,
and
it is.
That is so, I mean, you know, that is so important in terms of trying to get people back to work.
Okay, thank you so much. Now an update on a story we've been following here on Making Moves for several months, the possibility of a high-speed rail line between Atlanta and Jacksonville. The Georgia Department of Transportation has been evaluating the idea for more than a year now. Well, late last month, the Georgia DOT announced its study found that a high-speed rail line between Atlanta and Jacksonville is financially feasible to pursue. So the big question is, what does that mean for our region?
Well, what it means is Jacksonville is still in the mix for the potential of high-speed rail. We're still part of that southeast high-speed rail corridor, and what they're looking at doing next is moving on to do some of the environmental studies and actually coming up with more concrete cost and an operating plan. Well, what we'll do is we'll continue to coordinate with Georgia DOT, with the folks in the Atlanta office, and continue to do what we can to keep Jacksonville in the forefront of their minds.
This sounds so exciting. It sounds like now we have the green light, but does just getting the green light mean that high-speed rail is right around the corner, or how far is it?
Well, it's not around the corner, but one major step for us is the partnership that we formed with the state of Georgia, because that route that we're looking at, particularly from Atlanta to Jacksonville, could be really huge for Jacksonville. So in terms of Jacksonville, we are in a very good position in terms of high-speed rail for the future because of the presence of the Prime Osborne and our vision for turning Prime Osborne into a major transportation hub. I think it just really puts us at a great position in terms of offering Jacksonville as the gateway to Florida in terms of high-speed rail.
And speaking of the Prime Osborne, how close are we with getting that center?
Well, we're actually we're looking at the various track configurations because that view is not only just in the context of high-speed rail, but we're also looking at how we can design it in such a way to accommodate the future of commuter rail, a regional rail system, as well as returning Amtrak back downtown.
That could be really great.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, we're really trying to line it all up now so to make it really viable for Jacksonville.
Absolutely. Construction on a North Side roadway project is in full swing. When it's completed, this area where Clark Road meets Interstate Center Drive and Broward Road will have a brand new look and configuration. The work includes 2 new roundabouts to better move traffic through the area and make access to I-95 quicker and easier. When designs for this project were first being developed, plans were in the works for a new auto dealership, hotel, and office buildings nearby. But like in many parts of the city, the recession put a halt to the development in the Clark Road area. The hope now is that this small JTA project will be a spark to help revitalize the North Side neighborhood. And it's absolutely true. When the recession hit, it just seemed like a lot of things just went by the wayside. This project, though small, could it really have a big impact?
Yeah, absolutely. If you go into the area, you can see the accessibility before wasn't that great, and so now it's very easy to access that area now. And in terms of, and plus it gives us a little bit more life in terms of creating jobs. It's not a real big job, but it was able to employ folks to get out there and do some work out there, and that's really what it's about, trying to get stimulate the economy, get people back to work, and and just try to keep moving the city forward.
Two storms that hit Northeast Florida over the past several weeks served as a harsh reminder of just how dangerous this time of year can be. Tropical storms Beryl and Debbie pounded the area with high winds and historic amounts of rain, causing severe flooding over several counties. But thanks to new wind sensors placed on every major bridge in Duval County, emergency management officials were able to accurately monitor wind speeds to better determine if and when bridges needed to be closed. The $4,500 units were installed by the Florida Department of Transportation. The sensors send data back to NOAA weather satellites for evaluation. Previously, law enforcement officials had to make a judgment call about wind speed on site. Bridges are closed when wind speeds reach 40 miles per hour. Now, Michael, it's got to be reassuring to you to be in the EOC Center, having all of this technology and being able to know that if the wind is too high on one of these bridges, it's really not good for a bus to go across it either.
No, not at all, Joyce, but it's a very unique operation. It's headed by the mayor, and you have all the right players in the room, all of the independent authorities, from the electrical authority to the transportation authority, aviation. You have the military presence, you have the beach presence. So it serves as a one-stop communication center for communicating with the community about what is occurring, as well as being able to respond to the various needs of special needs or evacuation activities. Whatever the need arises in the course of these types of events, it's a great operation. In fact, we've been very successful in terms of our overall coordination since I've been a part of it.
Well, next on Making Moves, JTA gets $50,000 to help promote a Veterans Resource Center. And we'll meet a downtown professional who rides JTA to work every day and says he's saving a fortune. Those stories are straight ahead.
When you've been around as long as we have, you learn to take some punches. You learn you're not always going to get it right. But the most important thing is to remember why you're here and to never quit trying. When they said we were building the bridge to nowhere, we didn't just throw up our hands and quit. No, we kept going. And when they told us not to build the new road to the beach, that there was nothing out there, we had the vision to see what it could be. You see, sometimes you have to go against the conventional wisdom and trust your gut. It's important to believe in yourself and know that you're doing the right thing even when people don't always share your vision. There are times when our vision has been years ahead of its time. We don't let that stop us either. We keep our eyes focused clearly on the future without ever forgetting the past. We keep planning and moving forward. Nobody has to tell us. We know that people are counting on us to do the right thing. There are people counting on us to build that bridge, to get them to work or school and return them home safely to their families. There are people counting on us to think about their needs. Oh, not just for today, but 10, 20, even 50 years from now. That is what we do. We are JTA.
You're watching JTA Making Moves, honored by the American Public Transportation Association with its 2011 AdWheel Award.
Welcome back to Making Moves. U.S. Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood recently announced that JTA will receive $50,000 to promote a resource center to help military veterans. You may recall the Secretary visited Jacksonville back in November to announce the authority would receive nearly $2 million to develop a transportation resource center that would allow veterans to access immediate information about transit services through a single call or a single visit to a web page. The JTA is developing the site to help military veterans find affordable rides to work, school, shopping, medical care, and other destinations. In making his announcement, LaHood said, quote, "With these transportation grants, we will help connect veterans and military families with the jobs and training opportunities they deserve, as well as the medical care and other services that they need, all located close to home," unquote. The authority plans to meet with disabled veterans about the services they want the site to promote. The site is tentatively scheduled to roll out in September of 2013. The call center and website will provide information about services in Baker, Clay, Duval, Nassau, Putnam, and St. Johns counties. It's been years in the making, and now the new Duval County Courthouse is open for business. Hundreds of courthouse employees have moved from the decades-old courthouse on Bay Street to the new facility that envelops a 3-block area in the western portion of downtown, bordering Broad and Adams Streets. But the move did cause some transitional stress. Day one saw traffic wrapped around nearby parking garages and people circling just to find an open meter. So as an alternative to this parking madness, JTA is offering a new program where you can park indoors or out, then ride a trolley or skyway to the courthouse, all for less than other parking options in the area.
It's going to be $35 a month, which is going to include, of course, a parking space at either of the two locations, the Convention Center area or Kings Avenue, also the skyway, and also the monthly trolley, weekday trolley situation. So they're really getting quite a good break.
As an added incentive, many employers are eligible for a pre-tax payroll deduction to help employees pay even less for the Downtown Star Park and Ride. For more information on the Downtown Star Park and Ride program, call 630-3100 or log on to the JTA website and click on the Downtown Star page. We Americans sure do love our cars, but more and more we're finding people who are just as happy to let someone else do the driving. Like a Mandarin resident we found who works downtown and just hates the thought of getting in his car and driving to work. So he chooses to let JTA take care of that for him. Making Moves' Terry Casey has his story.
I don't like driving. And I definitely don't like driving downtown because of the traffic.
Jerry Benson knows what he does and doesn't like, and he's smart. He managed to turn the tables on what he doesn't like, driving and heavy traffic, and make it work for him.
And as a result, since I don't like to drive, and since I do like to save money, I've chosen to take the bus.
Jerry works at the new courthouse downtown as head of finance and accounting for the Duval County Clerk of Court's office. And believe me when I tell you, Jerry Benson knows numbers.
Okay, let's talk about dollars and cents.
And with that, he showed me a detailed summary of benefits gained from choosing and using JTA in lieu of driving to work.
I estimate in savings on gas, wear and tear on the car, and some of the other incidentals, that parking, etc. I've saved over $14,000. It's probably more than that, but I'm going to say conservatively, I've saved 14 grand over the last 7 years.
Whether bound for work or heading home after, you'll see Jerry on a JTA bus. In fact, he says JTA played a huge role in his decision to accept the job with the Clerk of Court's office 7 years ago.
The fact that there was a bus route from where I live in Mandarin, very close within several blocks of the courthouse here, that was a major factor in my decision to say, okay, I'll take it.
Jerry loves to read as he rides. Believe it or not, he worked that into his benefits gained calculations too.
Over a year, it's about 25 8-hour days of reading that I get accomplished. So that's not too bad.
Jerry closes the book when he reaches the end of the line, in his case a JTA Park and Ride, which, by the way, he counts as another benefit.
When you come home, get off the bus and your car's right there and you can head on home.
While this may be the end of the line, it is not the end of Jerry Benson's JTA story.
One of the things that I enjoy very much is not having to pay attention on the road and worry about traffic and worry about turning and worry about stopping. I read my book and I get on where I'm going to go.
In Jacksonville, Terry Casey for Making Moves.
And still to come on Making Moves, we'll solve the mystery of the artwork left at transit stops all over the city. You won't want to miss this one. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Making Moves. There's something wonderful happening all over our city. People are finding small, unique pieces of art, but they're not finding them at art galleries or museums. No, they're finding them at bus stops, on the Skyway, and some other places as well. Making Moves' Eugene Lindsay unveils the mystery of who's behind the great Jacksonville art drop.
Yvonne Lozano is a professionally trained artist who loved to reminisce about the joyous days of her youth through her art. Almost every painting illustrates a particular story or memory of her childhood.
And this is my dog at the Skyway.
But Yvonne also knows that experiencing the world of fine art can often leave many unexposed. That's because it's usually displayed in museums and galleries where many people never have a chance to visit. That's why Yvonne is committed to exposing people from all walks of life to the wonderful world of art, and she does it through what she calls Art Drop. That's where Yvonne leaves behind one of her paintings at a random location for an unsuspecting stranger to find.
A family member of mine was in the hospital, and I spent a lot of time in a waiting room and realized, I'm like, you know, this is a perfect opportunity to just brighten someone's day. So I started doing quick sketches of dogs and leaving them around the hospital.
And now some of the random locations where she frequently makes a drop is along JTA transit stops. Yvonne says her inspiration comes from her early childhood experiences of riding the bus with her mom.
There was always a visual of her sitting at a bus stop with us, holding me, and my sister sitting next to her. I just kind of realized, I'm like, you know, there's probably a lot of other single mothers who are riding buses or public transportation. So I actually decided to hit up JTA bus stops and just leave little pieces of art around, just to basically brighten, someone's day.
And that's what fuels Yvonne's commitment of bringing art to the people. She knows the impact a simple drawing or painting can have on someone who finds her work. On a sunny day, she makes a drop at a Regency bus stop, much to the delight of the person who finds it.
That's right. It really helped me in my day because, I wasn't really up on my toes today, but this really put something in my heart right now.
Art is very powerful. It's a powerful tool that can be used to uplift you, your quality of life. It can change your day. It can change the whole direction of where your day was going. There's Skyways right outside my studio, so I ride it a lot during the week to come here and avoid traffic and all that good stuff. And so there's times where I'm just riding it and I'm just like, this is a good spot to leave something, and I'll just leave it there and walk away.
So thanks, Yvonne Lozano, for sharing your talent and your love of the arts with commuters on our routes. For JTA Making Moves, I'm Eugene Lindsay.
If you'd like to learn more about Yvonne Lozano or check out some of her other art drops, stop by her Facebook page at Art by YCL. How neat. That is so
a nice
neat.
Story. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it's kind of cute.
But time now for your final thoughts. What's on your mind?
Joyce, I would like to invite the public to participate in a very exciting forum, a public forum that will be held at the Prime Osborne on Thursday, July the 26th. We have actually two sessions beginning at 11 to 1 and then 4 to 7. And what we're going to be discussing is an updated strategic plan for the Jacksonville Transportation Authority. And what oftentimes I think people don't realize that the James Point or the Wonderwood didn't just fall out of the skies, or Butler, or the planning for bus rapid transit, or even for the design changes that we're making in the transit system as we transition. I don't think people sometimes realize what goes behind the scenes, the planning effort that it takes to bring those projects to fruition. And so we just updated our strategic plan, and we want the public to come in and provide some feedback and learn more and more about what the Jacksonville Transportation Authority is doing. it is a consolidated effort of all of the modes working together. We're going to articulate at best how all these transportation programs and projects work together in tandem. So it's not a matter of balancing transit or balancing the roadway. We're trying to show how all of these systems are fully integrated into our overall transportation mobility network. So we're going to have open tabletop sessions, we're going to have displays, and a real conversation about the future of Northeast Florida as it relates to transportation. And so it's so critically important that we really want to get that input, that feedback from the public. This is a plan that we've had for a number of years, but we just updated it. We do major updates. And then we just took a different approach in terms of trying to bring everything together to give people a better picture about what we're planning for the future of Jacksonville. So the future of bus rapid transit will be discussed, the future of commuter rail will be discussed, the future of our whole road network and this whole regional thought about partnering with the local counties in terms of how they come together and how they weigh in terms of the overall transportation network, and what people sometimes don't think about. If we're trying to support the port activity, if we're trying to be the logistics center of America, then we're going to have a discussion on how that works. Why is it so important for us to work with the Port Authority? Why is it important for us to work with the Aviation Authority, the military, the City of Jacksonville, and of course the Florida Department of Transportation, the Transportation Planning Organization? All of these entities, the Regional Planning Council, all of these entities, work in tandem with each other in terms of planning the future of transportation. So this is basically a combination of all of those ideas coming together in terms of how we move forward. And I really want the public to partake in those sessions. I think it's going to be really a fun thing for them to really learn about what we're doing in this region.
Is this going to be a time when the public will actually get to speak, or is this just the time to come in small groups and discuss?
They'll have an opportunity to do both, because we're going to be receiving the comments as you make your way around the different tables. So, we're basically going to introduce the plan, talk about where we are in the plan, and then you can actually walk through the various displays to see exactly how it all lines up to the overall strategic plan. So when we talk about bus rapid transit and commuter rail, sometimes people don't really think in terms of, well, how does all that work and how that comes together. And so this particular concept is just trying to articulate and present to the public how all these mobility modes work together in tandem.
Oh, it sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's a different spin, it's a different turn, but I think the public is going to really appreciate all the work that goes behind trying to make transportation work in Northeast Florida.
Again, July 26th. If you need more information, of course, go to jtafla.com. Yeah. Thanks so much, Michael. And that wraps up this edition of Making Moves. We hope you'll be joining us again real soon. If you missed any part of this show or just want to watch it again, complete episodes of Making Moves are always available online at jtafla.com. And of course, make sure to stay in touch with us on Facebook or on your YouTube channel, JTA 904. For Michael Blaylock and the entire Making Moves team, I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again the next time we're making moves.